there's one person, but I can't really tell.
It's me.
Oh, are you? You can sit in there?
Yeah, I just have it open in another tab.
Oh, okay. So I don't know, like, should we wait or just go?
We can wait another couple minutes. It's not quite 8 or 9 for you.
Yeah,
I've got
I'm
7:58.
I'm gonna make sure I don't keep the preview going. I'm gonna check the public view and see if it's live. So it looks like it's live.
Yep.
Cool. And how, like, you can see how laggy it is too, so you can let me know if it's getting bad or.
It's not showing up on my screen yet. It's still loading.
Well, it's gonna be about like 20 seconds or 30 seconds behind, I think. Should be close to starting now. Oh, that was weird. It shows me like a public view where it says it's live, but I don't know. Well, it's gonna be about like 20 seconds. That's weird. On like my end, it's live, but obviously it's going right through my connection. So, and someone just said it was live. How did I lose you already? What the hell? Yeah, I'm sorry this is taking so long to get set up, guys. George,
I'm back.
what'd you do?
I accidentally closed the tab.
Oh, I was like, dude, what the hell? I thought I was the laggy one. He disappeared. Anyways, it must be live because a viewer said it was live, and now
Yeah.
we just hit 12 viewers randomly, so everyone
Yeah,
showed
I've
up
got
last minute.
14, so
All right, cool.
cool. Who do we have in the house, guys?
Yeah, say hi down below so we can see who you are. If you guys are on the Google Plus side, the Hangouts, there's an app.
Let's do a
What'd you say?
sound check for a minute.
My sound was fine until you did a sound check. There we go. So that should be unfocused now, and it'll switch back between us. But if you guys want to leave comments and questions, there's an app that says Q&A on the Google Plus side, and you can just leave comments in the video on the YouTube side. George, are you alive?
Yes.
All right, cool. So we can go ahead with introductions if you want.
All right, cool. My name's George Lombardo, Flipping Footwear on YouTube. I source shoes and I sell them for profit on eBay. I also sell on Amazon a bit. I'm getting into that a little bit more. I've done some of it, but I haven't done it big. How about you, Mike?
So my name is Michael Pierce. I just run a YouTube channel basically to help new sellers online be successful on Amazon and eBay. Specialty-wise, I kind of focus on video games and collectibles. And this is kind of our first live show. Typically, we both make videos and focus on like the Facebook community. So we're going to try and do this weekly as long as the internet permits. It's kind of finicky right now. So we can go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about packaging and shipping, ways to save money, different methods people might not talk about, and just general guidelines that will help you out throughout the way.
Yeah. So one thing that's going to be really important for you to have if you're going to be doing this and you're trying to make money and you're not just trying to sell things around your house to get rid of them, you're going to want to get a shipping scale. Those are going to be pretty important. They're usually very accurate, and it can help you to save money by knowing whether or not you can ship first class, or if it's going to be better to put it into a flat rate box as opposed to a regular priority or parcel post or however it is that you're going to ship.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the equipment you use is very important. A lot of people try to guess weights, or they try to slide by, and a lot of people even pay at the post office, which will end up costing you a lot more than if you print labels up online. So I think no matter what, if you're gonna like take eBay and Amazon seriously, you should have a scale, you should have a printer, you should be printing labels from your house. That way, you're getting the commercial discount and saving a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And those are just general mistakes people make. I think we should probably talk about all the mistakes that people make when shipping. Aside from not having equipment and really learning about shipping ahead of time, people don't even realize they can use first class mail on anything that's 13 ounces or under, which is a huge money saver compared to priority mail. And I've seen people ship priority mail for very light things, and it will just drain your account. I believe the starting price for first class is like $1.93, so it's a lot lower than the $4.95 minimum for priority. People tend to stick to just USPS, which I can understand because the other services can be a little confusing. But there's services like FedEx Smart Post that can save you a lot of money on larger items. If you're like shipping really big items, UPS is a great resource. And so you should really learn about all three services before you get into selling tons of items online.
Yeah, I tend to only use USPS because I know what size of items I'm going to be shipping, and it typically isn't going to be anything more than padded flat rate envelope or a USPS shoebox. That's what works for me though, and I
Yeah.
don't always sell a lot of other things. I am getting a bit into selling ties and shirts,
Okay.
so I am using the first class a lot more. Um,
Okay.
but I haven't looked a whole lot into other
Methods?
couriers. Yeah, there was one that I did ship FedEx because it was a large package. Um, Not really large, but it was a lot cheaper to ship through FedEx than it was through USPS, like half as much.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of different things that will be a lot less than USPS if you're going on the larger end, depending on priority mail. But honestly, if you're getting like large dimensions, priority mail sometimes is a lot more expensive than UPS would be and FedEx Smart Post. The one thing to note is FedEx Smart Post is a little slower, and UPS, you're probably going to have to like go to a local branch if you don't have like a business account online, because they charge a lot for residential pickup and those sorts of things.
Yeah, I usually will take it to the store actually. Even when I ship on Amazon, I take it to the UPS store.
Yeah, and for me, like UPS isn't that close, so if I ship, I have to get it picked up, which will have a surcharge on it. And I seen in the comments, Jay said there's no chat room. There is a chat
Yeah,
room. It's on the Google Plus side. There's not going to be a chat room on the YouTube side, so you would have to click the link in the description, and you can ask questions and all that kind of stuff. If there's a way to do like a live chat room that we can see scrolling down, I don't know how to do it. I don't see anything about that.
I
So,
know that's possible because I've seen it on other Hangouts.
okay.
But yeah, you're right. I
I
don't
don't have an
know.
app for it or anything over here. Honestly, I don't know much about Google Hangouts yet, but I'll try and learn more as time goes on so we don't have issues. I'm more concerned about the stream going smooth. If it is laggy and you guys see it's laggy, please let us know so I can change the encoding or whatever to make sure it's smooth. I'd rather it be smooth and less quality than just choppy. Um,
Yeah.
Okay, so I think those are some common mistakes. There's a few more I get a lot of questions about, and I told you I was going to talk about the stupid Tyvek envelope that everyone asks me about. This thing right here, the Tyvek envelope, it's not flat rate. Okay, so I get the question all the time: is the Tyvek envelope flat rate? It is not. If you put a flat rate sticker on it, you pay $4.95. That doesn't mean you're going to get caught. It's very small. It says flat rate on the sticker, so a lot of people might not notice. But technically speaking, you need to put the dimensions of this Tyvek envelope plus the weight and print up an actual individualized priority mail label. And like someone asked me about it the other day and then got an argument with me and told me that it cost too much or something. I was like, I don't make the prices. I'm just telling you. So from
It's
our
all your fault,
standpoint,
Mike.
well, that's true.
Why did you
But
do that? I can't believe you rose the prices for USPS.
yeah, I know I'm a jerk. But from my standpoint, in my original shipping video, I did say they were flat rate. So I kind of just answer the questions and deal with it. It's my own fault. But I think the reason everyone's confused is because USPS was confused. When Priority Mail first came out, these were stacked on a flat rate shelf. Like it literally at my post office, there's a big shelf that says flat rate, and then on the other side it says Priority Mail. And the flat rate side has all the flat rate goods, and these were originally put there, and that was because the workers didn't realize they weren't flat rate either. So when I made the video, I just assumed they were. It was actually through the comments that people were like, dude, that's not right. I just got upcharged when I went in. So those are not flat rate. If you take them in as flat rate, and like the postal worker might stop you and tell you owe more money. So it's something to keep in mind. And yeah, you might have got away with it before, but you could end up owing money on the postage.
Speaking of owing money on postage, I don't know if you still are, but on your shipping video that you made, Mike, you mentioned that you round up on your or your first class mail.
I mentioned
You
that I
still
round
do that?
down, which is like people hate.
That's what I meant to say. Is you round down? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool. They're saying no lag, and it sounds great, so that makes me really happy. Awesome.
Awesome.
My previews are garbage. Like looking at you, George, on my screen, like your lips don't even move or anything.
Yeah. Same for you, Mike.
Oh, okay. I'm talking just to like a still of you. Yes,
I'm not even looking at the
So let's
video.
talk about rounding down because people hate this. They get really aggravated. They left me hate comments, and that's probably why the video has some dislikes. But I mean, out of 100,000 views it's gotten out, which is like I'm very thankful for. So if you're watching this and you've seen the video, thank you so much. It's for me, rounding down wasn't that big of a deal, and I wasn't saying that you should round down everything. According to their policy, if it's over 0.5 on the second decimal, then you need to round up every time. And I feel like that's a little crappy because, and here's why. I don't like that USPS will require you to round up for that, right? But then if you went in and paid extra postage on accident, they wouldn't correct it and give you your money back. I feel like it's a very one-sided gig. So for me, if it's close, if it's like 0.5 or 0.6, a lot of times I would just keep it at that first measurement. So if it was like 4.6 ounces, I would send it as 4 ounces. Now, people can debate whether this is right or wrong. I don't really care what you think on a whole level because I've done it. Okay, it's what I did. It doesn't really affect me that you don't or do like it. What I can say is over the course of 5 years now, I've only had 2 first-class packages ever sent back because of that, and it was when I very first started, and I used to use stamps and stuff on them as well. And I've had no issues, and it's probably saved me hundreds of dollars on postage. I mean, like on a serious level. So for me, I feel like being a business owner is being frugal, is being smart with your money. So okay, maybe it's wrong, maybe it's not morally right, but on my end, I saved a lot of money, and I'm okay with that. And now, I mean, almost all my shipping is through UPS anyways for Amazon, FBA, and I hardly ever ship through USPS. So
Right.
it's not even a problem. But I don't know. You guys can comment. Let me know. Like, do you round down? Do you round up? There was a huge debate about it in a Facebook group like a month ago, and people were saying they round up if it's like 4.1. And then I'm just like, you're just a complete idiot. You're just wasting money. Why would you do that? And there was a lot of people backing that idea. I don't think that's okay. If you think that's okay, I'm sorry you like to throw money away.
I don't see it as a right or wrong thing. To me, that's not a. I don't know. I just don't see it as a right or wrong option. I just think that if I get stuck with, I round up most of the time. It's like you said, if it's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, then I'll round down.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if I feel like there's a possibility. Like, because some scales might even be off by a tenth
Yeah,
of an
exactly. So
ounce.
that's what always got me
So
about the like if it's over point 0.5, right? What if your scale is off by that little amount? What if their scale is off? I mean, who's to
right,
say that theirs isn't off? For me, um, that little tactic like just proves they're very one-sided, which is what pissed me off usually. Because if a new person went in a USPS right now, right, and they ship something and they put it as 9 ounces when it was 7, that worker wouldn't go, "Hey, you overweighed this. Here's your 50 cents back." They would just keep your money and call it a day. So I
right.
don't. I find that is so much more immoral to me than like rounding down. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's way more immoral.
I try to just stick to what I'm supposed to do, and that's only because I don't want to have the package held up at the post office of the buyer and make them have to go to the post office to pay the extra 5 cents or $1 or whatever it is to get their package. Uh,
Okay.
so even if it only saves me once or twice, I'm okay with that because I feel like it's better customer service.
Okay, so I feel like that's a legitimate point, right? But let's look at what you're selling. Okay, now everyone sells the same thing. For me, like I sell a lot of cheaps. I sell a lot of smalls. I sell video game manuals that cost $4 to $5 on eBay, right?
Okay,
So
yeah, I can
that
see
those
that.
cents can add up. Whereas like if you're selling a $50 pair of shoes or a $100 pair of shoes, it makes sense to go with the higher end for shipping to make sure that it gets there right, safe, and no postage due. On my end, it's worth the risk if I'm selling hundreds of small items to save that few cents so I don't lose money on them.
Before your eBay kind of slowed down, how many items would you sell per month?
Um, okay. Let's say it depends on the point, really, like the point of year. If we're gonna go like to the busiest point,
Yeah,
um,
I know what you're saying.
yeah, like last Christmas season, I was selling upwards of probably 400 items a month, 500 maybe.
Wow,
But
that's
like,
really good.
if we go consistent, like back at like throughout selling video games and manuals and replacement stuff, maybe 100 items a month, but they were so small. That's why when people see my numbers, they're always surprised, like when I talk about them in the videos now. But I've always sold cheaper things on eBay. Video games aren't necessarily high profit margin unless they're rare. Video games are very common. So I sell video games because I enjoy them. I like working with them. Unless I get a rare game like Super Castlevania 4 I talked about, then I'm only
Right.
making a couple dollars per sale, and it's about quantity. So, um, and I noticed that my really consistent sales were video game manuals. No one likes to list them; they take a long time. But I have like 20,000 video game manuals. I'm like not even exaggerating, like bins upon bins of them because people will give them to me for free, and they can sell between $2 and $20 a piece. So. The problem for me now is I don't have the time to list them myself. I would need to hire someone to list them.
Yeah, that can get really tedious for a low profit item.
Yeah,
That's kind
exactly.
of why I liked sticking to shoes because my price per item has gone way up.
Yeah.
And however, it's hard to say because I'm growing. I'm listing more and more, and I'm making more and more sales. So when I first started eBay, I think my first month or two I sold like 30 items or something like that.
Okay.
But my price per item was fairly low because I was just selling a bunch of random crap. Uh, and then when I started getting into shoes and building more and more into it to where it made up, I think now it's about 80% of my inventory.
Which
The
is good.
rest is other items like ties and shirts. But now I'm selling between 30 and 45
Okay.
items per month,
But like
and
what would your average sale price be? Do you know off the top of your head?
yeah, it's sticking to around $27. And I
Okay.
what it is that brings it's the ties that I sell bring it down because they only sell for like 10 or 11 bucks. Most of the shoes I sell go for over $30.
But and so if we look at that, and that's what I mean by people sell different things. People are different kinds of sellers.
Right.
Even if you look at my FBA now, my average sale price, I think after last week's update was like $21 per item or $20 per item. To this day, I'm more of a more quantity seller, and the reason is because I understand that I'm 23, and I can't go into a thrift store and find the one item that sells for $600 because my knowledge hasn't expanded that far yet. For me, I can walk into a thrift store and I can hit the video game section and grab every single thing that'll make profit, and I know it'll make profit. Whereas like you can go to the thrift store and go to the shoe section and raid the whole thing right away, and you'll know what's
Yeah.
going to make profit. And I think that's why it's more important to specialize in the beginning, and then you kind of branch out and work to other things. Um, because that allows you to be grounded and make profit and then experiment from there. If you try to go to a thrift store and buy everything from every section, like you're going to be so confused and you're going to have no idea what's worth money unless you
Right.
are older and you've had experience with all that stuff in the past. Um, but we are getting a little off topic, so I want to get back to shipping a little bit here.
Yeah, yeah, let's do that.
And
I was just thinking the same thing.
well, it's fine to get. I mean, I think people enjoy it. Will enjoy our conversation and stuff. But I think there is something here that we should talk about, and it's getting cheap and free supplies. And I think this is probably a little more your specialty. Through,
Yeah,
I know you post on Craigslist for supplies. So
I do.
why don't you explain to them like what your post entails? Like what do you put in your post, and like what the response has been, and the kind of stuff you've gotten. Because for me, I don't post on Craigslist to get free supplies. I go to local businesses, but I'll talk about it after you talk about Craigslist.
Okay. All right. So what I do whenever I need boxes for FBA or if I need packing supplies like air pillows or a lot of times you end up with wrapping paper. I don't use that a whole lot, but I do keep it whenever and I use it to stuff flat rate boxes since the weight doesn't matter because usually the wrapping paper or craft paper is what it's called weighs a little bit more. But so if I need bubble wrap or I need air pillows, I'll first look on Craigslist to see if there are any present ads. And if they have a phone number, I'll text them. If they have an email, I might send them an email. But usually people are super slow about responding to email. So
Yeah.
so I if I don't see anything or if I don't get anything fairly quickly, I will make a wanted ad on Craigslist, and it's just a simple ad. I'll say, hey, okay, for example, I just put one up on yesterday because I was looking for boxes,
Okay.
and I did exactly what I was talking about. Um, I looked through Craigslist. I didn't see anything last night. I looked again this morning. I didn't see anything, or at least nobody that would reply to me because I replied to a couple of them and I didn't get anything. So I put
Yeah.
out a wanted ad, and it just said, I'm looking for boxes that are around 12 by 12, 12 by 12 by 8 or bigger, or 12 by 12 by 16,
Okay.
and somewhere around that size would be great. So that's it. I posted the wanted ad, and just about an hour and a half ago, someone texted me and said, "Hey, let me read it." It says, I have 13 medium and 4 small U-Haul boxes, plus a couple of miscellaneous boxes if you're interested. If so, I can drop them off tomorrow evening after work. So this guy's going to bring them to me. I don't even have to go pick them up. That
Wow.
doesn't happen very often, but that's convenient.
Like when you post an ad, how many people would you say normally respond?
One or two, but usually it's as much as you need. Another time, I wasn't looking for boxes. I was just looking for uh, bubble wrap
Yeah.
and air pillows.
Okay.
And I said, hey, I'm looking for bubble wrap and air pillows. I'll take peanuts if you have them too, but I'm mostly looking for the other two stuff. Um, so I get a reply from a couple of people, and I reply to one, and they say, hey, we have a big old box of it. So I go and I pick it up. And then another day later, my ad is still running, and someone says, hey, we've got a big bag of it in our garage. And so I go and I pick it up, and they open the garage door, and it's a huge bag. It took up my entire truck bed. I have a standard size truck bed, so it's not like ridiculously large, but it still took up my entire truck bed.
That's
That's how,
awesome.
and sorry, I can't talk. It ended up filling 5 13-gallon trash bags full of air pillows,
Wow.
plus
Holy shit.
um, maybe 50 feet of bubble wrap.
And that's a
So,
lot of money. Like if you were to buy that stuff, that's not cheap.
right,
So that's actually pretty cool.
yeah.
And like was most of it undamaged or
I'm sorry.
Was most of it undamaged? Like
I would
because
say
bubble.
about 25% of it I threw away or I recycled
Okay. So
because it
that's
was
kind of
rainy
cool.
that day, and I ended up leaving it in my truck overnight. I just covered it with a tarp. Some of it got wet, some of it didn't. So I just threw away the gross stuff into the recycling. The stuff that I didn't want buyers to have, and then I kept the good stuff, and I
Okay.
still yielded that much.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of stuff, and that's a lot of money saved.
I
Um,
haven't had to post one in over a month now.
that's pretty cool. To all the people posting comments, I see there's a lot of them. We'll get to them partway through the show. I just want to talk some more, and then I'll answer questions because I know there's quite a few posted. For me, with like getting free supplies, which a lot of my supplies I don't get for free, but I use a pretty basic setup. Like I use stretch wrap, bubble wrap, and some different size bubble mailers if I'm selling a lot of video games on eBay. If not, I don't even use those. I order bubble mailers through USPS, which we'll talk about their supplies some more in a bit. But for me, the best places to get like boxes are like nail salons because if you look at all the products that show up at nail salons, they're liquid, so they have to be like packed really well. So they'll have boxes and peanuts and local bars, and the reason is a lot of liquor comes in boxes, a lot of promo stuff comes in boxes, and most bars have a kitchen, and every bit of food that comes into a kitchen is in boxes. And all those people want to do at a restaurant, I mean, I worked at it my whole life, is get those boxes the fuck out of the way. So if you'll come take boxes, they will just keep giving you boxes forever. And so, like restaurants, bars, and nail salons or like hair salons are the best places to get free boxes of every size. And I also get the question a lot about shipping guitars and where to get boxes. Now, for me, like we locally, we have a guitar store, and if you go there and ask them for a guitar box, they'll actually just give it to you because they get all the guitars in them, and they don't ship them out. So, if you have any kind of like local music store, most of those places that order brand new instruments, they come in boxes that are specifically set for them, and they take them out for display. So you can probably get boxes like specifically designed for guitar models and trumpets and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't think of going to a guitar store to ship a guitar.
Yeah, most of the stores they have to take them out of the box to inspect them and display them anyways. And people want to try instruments; they don't want to just like buy an instrument in the box. So
Yeah.
most of the boxes are opened and emptied, and then they just save them or throw them out. So, and they're like specifically designed to protect those items. That's how they get to the store. And something else, George, someone mentioned in the comments that they said that I wasn't laggy on their end, but you were. And like that's what it shows on mine, but you said it shows the same on yours. Are you on Wi-Fi or are you wire connected? Do you know?
I'm on Wi-Fi.
Okay. Do you have a wire connection or no?
Yeah, I could probably hook it up.
I was just thinking, I don't know how laggy it is. For me, it's like very laggy, but I don't know if that's what they see. But in the future, you might want to be wire connected just so we're good. I don't really know if it's going
Yeah,
to
I'll do
affect it.
that.
But yeah, that's fine. I was just mentioning it. And yeah, so I think there's always options for free supply. So if, like, for instance, I haven't bought supplies since December. I'm not even kidding, and I've sold quite a bit of stuff, and I've sent a lot of FBA shipments. Like, save all the pillows that come to you when you order from stores, and save all of the packing peanuts that come in. Like, you should be saving all that stuff because it's expensive if you buy it outright, and you're just really wasting money. The only thing I ever order is bubble wrap because I can't really find like good bubble wrap secondhand usually.
Yeah. With that being said, once you get big enough and you're selling like thousands of products a month, it's probably going to benefit you more just to save time and go buy your boxes.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I feel like if you're that big, you might want to start branding your company, right? So you get boxes with your stamp on it, or you get tape with your stamp on it. And once you're at that point, then maybe you should be branding on there as well. That way, they're your boxes that people are
Right.
already using, and getting your name out there.
And
But
just in general, your time is going to be a little bit more valuable at that point too, because maybe you don't want to put a Craigslist ad and wait for someone to respond. Maybe you need boxes, so you got to buy them.
yeah, I think that's a really good point. That at some point, time is going to be more valuable than being frugal, and that's fair. But if you're to the point where you don't need to worry about being frugal, you're doing pretty well. So you probably got there by being frugal.
Oh yeah.
And we're talking about free supplies. Let's talk about purchasing supplies because I have purchased supplies through a ton of different places, and I'm going to tell you all the top ones now. First of all, Amazon and eBay are never bad for any supplies. Just you can go there and look and get a pretty good deal. You might not get the best price in the world, but you'll get a pretty good deal. But here's our if you guys are watching, this is like my insider info right now. If you want bubble mailers, you go to valuemailers.com. Now, they don't have the best prices on all the mailers, but if you get the gray poly mailers and the DVD size ones, they usually have the best price anywhere. And I've searched a lot because that's the most size. That's the most common size for newer video games. Okay, so valuemailers.com. I think they're like 6.5 by 9s or something like that. If you want the best price on poster tubes, like high quality craft paper poster tubes, you're going to go to, I believe it's called papermart.com. They're located on the West Coast. They actually get bulk tubes in and cut them to the sizes you want. The problem is the shipping's expensive. So if you live nearby, you would get amazing deals, but if you have to deal with shipping, it's going to be kind of expensive. But poster tubes are really expensive in general. So that's your best bet. Papermart value mailers. If you want to use bubble mailers for like, hey, you're making money.
I did.
If you want to use bubble mailers for free for like first class, now this is going to be another controversial answer, but I don't really care. You can order express mail and priority mail bubble mailers from the USPS website, and then you can put them in some kind of poly bag or something if you don't have money to buy individual bubble mailers. And I've seen that done a lot. And I've also talked about using USPS supplies to ship to FBA, which people don't like also, but they accept it. You won't get in trouble by FBA. Someone posted that you would get in trouble. It's not true. To be honest, Amazon doesn't care, right? They have a deal with UPS. And if you think about it, the reason Amazon has a deal with UPS is because USPS probably wouldn't work with them when they originally pitched the idea. So, and they're missing a ton of revenue because of it.
Heck yeah, they are.
Like a ton. I think like I heard like 69% of all of UPS's deliveries are for Amazon.
Wow. That's a great number.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? I guess single-handedly in some like other countries, they had shipping services that were going out of business, and Amazon like single-handedly saved them by duoing with them. So
I'm pretty sure junk mail saves the USPS.
fair enough. Yeah. So like since we're on the topic of supplies from USPS.com, you can get any of the boxes I've ever shown in any video, any of the flat rate stuff, any of the priority mail stuff, any of the express mail stuff from their website. All you have to do is go to USPS.com, hit supplies, and just check the free tab. There's a tab that says free. That'll be all their free stuff. And there's so many different things. There's boxes that could possibly fit golf clubs and VCRs and board games, and there's even shoe boxes. There's like everything you can think of. More importantly, you can order as much as you want. For the most part, some of them have limits, and they'll ship it right to your door for free. So if you're not getting supplies that way, it's probably the best way if you don't want to spend a lot of money on supplies and overhead.
Yeah, and most of the post offices, they don't carry all of these things. So you can't even walk into the post office and get shoe boxes. All they have is flat rate boxes and express priority boxes. I don't ever
that's
see them
true.
have anything else.
They stock like maybe 1/5 of the type of boxes they have. That's why I said to check it out, because there's so many boxes you didn't even know existed on their website that you will never see in a store in real life, because I guess because they take up too much space, or I don't know. Honestly, I don't know the reason. I don't know why I'm trying to make it up like I know the reason. They just don't keep them there.
One of my favorite boxes I like to get is the, well, aside from the shoe box, because that's what I use all the time, is the 12 by 12 by 8 priority mailbox. It's the biggest priority mailbox they have that is going to be free to you, and you don't have to go find it, and it comes to your door. So I fit a lot of things in there, and it's the same. It would be the same price as shipping for a little box. So um, just because it doesn't go over the dimensions, so it's not a large package, but it is a pretty big box for being a regular package or thick envelope.
Yeah, and I think that is just there's two. I want to say there's two large priority mail flat rate boxes, and there's two mediums, and they're both different dimensions, but they have the same fee, which I don't know off the top of my
Yeah,
head. And then the small flat rate boxes, there's quite a few, and there's even DVD priority mail boxes, which people don't know about. You can fit one or two DVDs in them. They fold specifically to fit on the one or then two stacked. Um, and that's great for video games and like protecting things like of that nature. Um, so, all right. So we talked about supplies. We talked about getting free supplies. I think those are very important. I went over the Tyvek thing so I can finally say it live, and everyone can quit asking me about the stupid Tyvek thing. Um, I want to talk about what is important to ship. And interesting enough, yesterday, and the Facebook group, not our Facebook group, the Reseller Society, maybe there was like this giant debate, giant thread, because a lady posted a photo of a blouse she ordered or like a sweater, and it was in a poly mailer sealed, and she like took a photo before and after of opening it and said, "What is this? You sellers need to work on getting supplies." Basically saying that shipping a shirt in a poly bag is not acceptable.
that's
And
regular practice.
okay, I agree, and a lot of people agreed because they went off on her. But so let's talk about what is important when shipping, because I feel like there's been a lot of pictures lately, a lot of jokes of people like shipping things in Dorito bags and on a meat tray and like all this
Oh
weird stuff.
man, yeah, I saw the Dorito bag. That's terrible.
It's
There's
disgusting.
there's a meat tray in the Dorito bag or something.
It was so nasty. I'm just like, I don't even. But here's the thing, okay? First of all, a shirt in a poly bag is standard practice. If the seller likes to go above and beyond, the better practice would be a clear poly bag on top of the clothing, and then that poly bag gets slid into a shadowed or like shrouded bag. That way you can't see through it. That would
Yeah.
be the best practice. And um, they just put it in a normal poly bag, which is fine. Although if there is a hole in it or something, it could get liquid in there. Not a huge deal, but it could happen. I think that is completely acceptable. If you don't think that's acceptable, and you're in this chat right now, I want to hear a legitimate reason why it's not acceptable. I don't know if you expect them to like put it in a poly bag and ship it priority mail, but like
They
I think
probably
that's
expect it in a box.
well, that's just ridiculous because then it has to go
That's
priority
gonna
mail.
cost too much.
Anyways, I think that was a perfectly acceptable practice. I posted twice in the thing telling them that and that they're being a little idiotic. Now, for me, and you can state on your own, George, like what you think is important. For me, two things are important when you ship, okay? The item arrived to you within a reasonable amount of time, and if it is late, it is not because of a seller's error, okay? So like if it said it's going to be there in 5 days, mind you, that's an estimate on the website. It gets there in 7, but it was delayed by USPS. That is not the seller's fault. And I think us as sellers should understand that if we're buying something. A lot of people don't understand that, but their liability is to get it to the post office quickly, and then the post office does what they do. They're going to do whatever. So for me, the first thing about shipping is it gets there within a reasonable amount of time. The second thing is that the item arrives perfectly, exactly as it was listed and safe. But the part where it was exactly as it was listed just means that it was safe during shipping. It has nothing to do if they listed it wrong or whatever. So it arrives safely and it arrives relatively quickly is what I think matters in shipping. Um, Maybe people disagree. Maybe they think it needs to look cosmetically pleasing or it shouldn't come in recycled things. I think a meat tray and a Doritos bag is a little on the extreme side, sure. But if it arrives safe and it wasn't like there's Dorito chips all over the place, maybe it's not that big a deal. Like, I don't know. To me, that's not a huge concern. If it gets there safely to me and on time, I can give a shit less about what it came in, really. What
Yeah,
about you?
I would say I agree with you in with those two subjects, and then the third is the cosmetic look of the package. I want it to
Okay.
look professional. I just want it to come off as, oh, this guy, he's a professional seller. It looks great. Um,
So you're a diva, is what you're
but like I
saying.
said, that's the third most important. That's not the most important. If that were the most important, then I would not use the FOMO method, which I have used before,
Okay.
because that
And
doesn't look appealing, and they have to sit there and dig to get to the product. You know, sit there and cut and cut and cut to get through.
and
Uh,
speaking of which, the FOMO, that's what like where you wrap a mug and bubble wrap and cardboard and all that.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
know that I want to say you don't got to quote me here. Jason T. Smith is the one that created that method. You know that, right?
yeah. I heard that.
Yeah, okay. Because you mentioned that the other day when we talked, you mentioned you didn't really know much about him, but I'm pretty sure he's the one that like started making that popular because he ships a lot of mugs.
Yeah.
Um, so you do think that, and I'm talking like through eBay. I'm not talking like you bought something from a company. You think that cosmetically the package needs to look decent.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a first impression. Aside from getting there on time
Yeah,
and getting there, what was the other one?
on time and safe.
On time and safe. I never have to worry about that
Uh,
because I don't ship fragile items or breakable stuff.
that's fair, but I mean,
So
that there's still gonna be a
I'm not
concern
usually
that.
concerned about it getting there safe unless I'm trying something different. The other day, I shipped a pair of Mary Jane shoes in a flat rate priority box or flat rate priority bubble mailer,
Okay,
and I wouldn't usually do that, but they fit. And the reason why I wouldn't do that is because I don't want the shoes to get squished or misshaped on the way there.
okay,
So that's why it's important to ship in a box most of the time. However, I try to save money where I can, so I made a modified FOMO method for shoes. I essentially got a piece of cardboard, I cut out a strip of cardboard, and I lined the heel of the shoe with it so that it wouldn't
okay,
get squished, and then I stuffed the toes with tissue paper, which I usually do anyways. So
okay,
that keeps the toes up and the heel of the shoe up, and then I wrapped them both in tissue paper and put them in the priority bubble mailer. So I did that so that it gets there safe, like you were saying the first one, and it saved me some money because if I had put it in a shoe box, it would have cost around $7.50 or something like that. Because they are pretty light shoes, and they were a small enough size to fit in that envelope. So I went ahead. I was like, I'm gonna try this because I've been thinking about it. How can I, save money? Obviously, I won't be able to do that with larger shoes, but on a pair of shoes where I would be concerned with them being squished, I wouldn't
yeah,
typically put it in there. But I did this time, and they got there safe. And she said, um, everything was great because I messaged her. I even included a letter in the package to let me know how it went, make
okay.
sure that they weren't misshaped and stuff. So,
Well,
yeah, I
that's
kind of
nice.
lost my train of thought there, but um,
Well, no, I
yeah.
think I mean that's nice that you left a note and everything. That means you care. As far and I've had the same issue with shoes where I needed to worry about them getting smashed, and I guess I did something similar. But for me, I just like I stuffed the shoe and then I'm trying to think what I used. I used like stretch wrap and
Hmm.
stretch wrap cardboard over the top of them, and then I put them into a bubble mailer bag, and then that was inside of another bubble mailer bag. So it was like double bubble mailered, I guess you would say. I often do that. I often put two bubble mailer bags, which I guess you're not supposed to do, but like they're free, and I'd rather stuff get there safe in them. Um, but for me, I just find it interesting that people, I don't know. I guess when I buy giant lots of video games and stuff, I could care less what the box looks like or if it's professional. Like, I don't go on eBay expecting people to be professional. And I guess that's because of years of bad purchases on there. And I've had so many issues over the years buying stuff on there that I just don't expect it anymore. I'm not saying that you as a seller shouldn't try to be professional because, of course, but the point is it really a giant issue if they sent you a used box or your shirt and one poly mail or whatever? no, it's not a big deal. Like, stop making a big deal out of it. And specifically, like posting and like calling someone out about it is like, that's the extreme for me because you're calling out another seller, whoever it may be, over something really stupid. Like, make post important, not just spam.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's funny as a buyer, I don't care if the package looks great. I just want it to get there, in one piece. So I don't care about that. But whenever I send packages, I do care that it looks professional, only to maybe get a repeat buyer.
So
You
you're
know,
saying, but
if
okay, so
I stand out in
if you
front of other
buy,
sellers,
oh, I'm sorry.
then I might get repeat customers.
Okay, so if you buy, you're less concerned about how it looks.
Right.
And that's what I was saying. I'm never gonna like say you shouldn't make it look as good as it can. Of course you should. But if you didn't, like, if it gets there safe and it looks kind of, not the best, that's okay. Like, it's better than it not getting there safely for me. Now, and like there are extremes to the situation, like I said, like using recycled goods. A guy said that he got fishing lures mailed to him in a Pringle can, but they got there perfectly, and he was happy with that. And for me, that's like an example of okay, maybe it's not cosmetically pleasing, but what matters is the lures got to you safe.
Yeah.
And that's for me. When I'm talking about when I purchase, that's what matters. When I send out, you should always go above and beyond for your customer because on eBay you need to differentiate from the other good sellers. It should look professional. If you can leave notes in there, like handwritten notes are nice for customers. Some kind of callback card or something so they can get a hold of you. And make sure the stuff is as listed. If it's not, then do the righteous thing. Like I seen someone post and say they missed a stain on a shirt, they sold it, and they were just going to ship it out and see what happened. Like, no, don't do that.
Uh,
Contact the seller and just tell them what happened, be honest, and or cancel the transaction. Like, do what you have to do. No one cares if you got a defect. You're going to get a much worse defect once you get a negative and all this crap happen to your account
right.
because of it. So, like,
One defect is better than two because you can get two defects on one transaction.
yeah, I heard about a guy who sold like 8 things to one person. He got 8 defects, which is really sad to hear.
Oh, you can't do, no, you should have only gotten two. He would have had to call eBay to get the others removed.
He said he was. I don't know if it went through and he got him removed, but he posted about it and like was really upset. Like they left him all kinds of. I thought he said he sold like a bunch of stuff to one person and they did it. I don't really know. I don't have buyers that buy multiples usually. That's because I have no buyers on eBay at all anymore. So I'm gonna look through the questions here for a minute and say hi to everyone.
Yeah, let's do that.
Andrew, Jay, Angie, Chris, Full Cycle Soap, who I don't know who you are, but hello, all of you. And KBA, what's up, man? Michael McCullen. What's going on, everyone? And I want to go through the questions here. Andrew says, I use plastic grocery bags as packing material sometimes. What do you guys think of that? What do you think of that, George?
I would not do that.
Okay.
But that's just my personal opinion.
For me, I think it looks okay. It looks kind of like trashy, not even like being punny, but it looks trashy, I guess. But I've had things shipped to me with those bags, and honestly, they're easy to get out of the box without making a mess. They are readily available, and you're recycling. So I'm not going to say it's a horrible thing because it's not. But if you're selling like a $400 book or something, you send them in that, then you're kind of being an idiot. If you're sending something that's just kind of average value, then I would say that's okay.
Yeah, I got a return the other day, and someone they sent the shoes back in a bubble mailer, a big bubble mailer, and wrapped in grocery bags. And I was like, well, okay, I guess they look fine. Nothing happened to the shoes, so now I know if I ever run out and I have grocery bags and a bubble mailer, that they will survive the shipping.
um, all right. Deal Spot Houston says, I actually sent a 1 pound 4 ounce package with first class mail once and went through and it was only one time. Yeah, that happens. Like I said, first of all, here are a couple things to note about first class people don't realize. First class mail is not allowed to be opened by the post office. If you read their agreement on the website, it actually says that mail is immune to inspection. Um, Also, they maybe check the weight on 1%, maybe if you're lucky, of those packages. I mean, they can never check them all. They all go through automated machines very fast, and people just randomly pull. And the chance that you're going to get caught are very slim if you printed labels at home. If you take a package in and you let them inspect it, like look at the package, then there's a much bigger chance of you getting caught for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've heard that some post offices, particularly rural post offices, are a little bit more stringent on the rules because they need to make more income for their post office. So they check every package or whatever to try to make sure that they're getting all the postage that's deserved to them.
I guess I wouldn't use the word deserve, but yes, I guess. I think what they're trying to do is enforce rules because they're there and they can, and they have a boss above them. That's the postmaster,
Right,
whoever.
that pushes
Yeah,
for it.
and they're getting paid to do a job, and that's what they do. So I'm not going to hate on them. It's not their fault. If they are an asshole to you, which I've had happen, like very rude, then I just handle it. You know what? Every time I went in, they told me my package was which I think has happened maybe once or twice. They told me it wasn't weighed right or whatever. I took my package. I didn't even talk to them. I just took my packages, left, and dropped them off at a different post office. And guess what? They
Yeah,
never
that's,
got sent back.
that's an easier thing to do.
Because there's no reason to fight with them. They're going to win, and they're not very nice sometimes. Chris B said, I bought photography equipment a while back, and it came in and said, fragile, do not ship in this box, needs extra packing and airspace. The package was intact, but seeing this made me think poorly of the seller. So basically, your seller sent a box that specifically said, don't send it like this, and now you think poorly of them because they didn't put extra materials, although it did show up safely. Okay. That gives me mixed feelings. I feel like you got it safe, so be happy, but I can see why you'd be upset because they're being careless. What do you think, George? Do you think they should be upset about that, or?
Uh, no, I mean,
Oh, you went black. What happened?
what's with the? I don't know why you wouldn't want to ship in a particular box
Uh,
because it needs extra packing and airspace. Was there extra packing and
no,
airspace?
that's what he's saying. The box that the manufacturer had this item in said, do not ship this box without extra packing, and the seller shipped it without extra packing. But it arrived safe.
His comment doesn't say that it shipped without
Yeah, that's
extra
what he's
packing.
saying. That's why he's saying he's upset.
He just said
Well,
the box. He just said the box
George, you're
said
making an educated inference here. He obviously didn't put extra packing. Why else would he think poorly of this person?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
He
He
didn't send
shouldn't.
extra. He sent it in the box that said, "Don't send in this box." Like, how is this even a debate right now? Come on, man, give it the program. Do
I don't
you
know.
think
I think
if
it
you
got
ship
there
it?
fine, so that's it.
Okay. Cycle soap. Full Cycle Soap says he finds boxes in dumpsters at Walmart and grocery stores, which makes sense. You could also find them at bars who typically have a cardboard dumpster. Um, Let me see. You can get bubble wrap from appliance stores. That's a fair point. You can get packing supplies from a lot of places. We were just talking about the ones we specifically use. KBA asks, Mike, how much thought did you and George put into choosing your business name for FBA/eBay? And just to be sure, the EIN you got applies to all businesses thereafter. Okay, this two-part question here. First of all, let's talk about names. George, how much thought did you put into names? Do you think they're important? What do you think about names?
Uh, I don't think your DBA name or whatever it is whatever kind of business it is that you're going to open matters too much because you can do business as any other name as well, as long as on your taxes it has your actual DBA name. Does that make
But he
sense?
refers specifically to your FBA and eBay name. So your actual viewable name to your buyers.
At at this time, my ID name is the same as my business name. However, I want to change my ID name. I've been trying to think of a new user ID for the last like month, and nothing has hit me. I can't think of one that's going to be rememberable.
Rememberable.
That that would be the. That's not the right word.
I don't think it is, but we can go with it.
Catchy. Let's just say catchy. I can't think of one that's going to be catchy that people are going to remember easily. So I've just been kind of waiting. I know once you change your user ID, because I've done it before when I went from a buying account to a selling account, um, that you have a little icon next to your user ID for the next 30 days that says this user has recently changed their ID. Uh,
Okay.
but so it doesn't matter what your business name is in comparison to your eBay ID
Okay.
or
For
Amazon
me,
for that.
Okay, for me, names mean nothing, and here's why. If you go back, I've talked about this in a video. If you go back 10, 15 years, Apple didn't mean anything to you, Amazon didn't mean anything to you, Facebook didn't mean anything to you, and if you think about like Facebook's a terrible name, anyways. These things don't mean anything. What means something is the branding, the service, the product, the integrity behind the name you create. So you can use whatever name. I do think there are better names than others, and typically they're less syllables and they're simple to understand, such as something like Apple or Amazon, but I don't think it matters that much at all. I think people think way too much about names, and they should think way more about the content or the items or the service they're providing.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the second part of your question is about EIN, which I try not to get into a lot because it varies and depends on what you're doing.
It's different from state to state.
But your EIN is your employment identification number, which technically you don't even need. You can use your social security number. Now, it does not apply to all businesses thereafter. It applies to the business that you're starting at that point, and you can expand your businesses into like a corporation and have multiple entities under that EIN, or you can get individual numbers per business basis. That's your choice, and I would say see a lawyer about that. I am not a specialist in that field. I don't really want to get into it too much. There are a couple people that ask questions on the questions app too, so I want to cover those. Melinda says, "Hi guys, I'm Melinda. I'm at square one and so happy to be here right now. Not sure how this works, but I'm soaking it all in." Thanks so much, Melinda, for joining, and we appreciate it very much. And we hope this helps out some. And then the second question comes from Tara, and she says, "I'm trying to figure out the best way to ship odd-shaped items. Is it best to just put them in a bigger box or hunt down a better box somewhere, like LPs or items that do not that are long and narrow?" Um,
Uh, it just depends on what the item is, I guess.
yeah, I would agree. I would say if you have time, you should always search for boxes that better fit your item, because if you don't, you can end up paying a lot more for shipping. It really depends on the weight, I guess, right? So if it's first class acceptable, it'll matter, because if your dimensions go over the first class and you can't fit in that chapter, then you're going to end up spending a lot more money on the next section. If it's priority, the dimensions are so loose, like their restrictions are so loose that you could probably use all kinds of different boxes and still pay the same rate, depending on the location of the buyer. And then we just got one. Michael asked, on FBA, is it normal to be charged 407 or 599 product that's 4x4 or 3 ounces or less? And I don't. Do you want me to answer this? Do you know much about Amazon shipping? I could probably get into this if you want.
I'm. Hang on.
If you open the app, the questions app, you should see what I highlight when we're doing this.
Okay, I
If you
see it.
click, yeah, if you click on the left, click Q&A, and it should we should be in sync.
So is it normal to be charged 407
On
on a
a
599 product that 4x4 less than 3 ounces?
Yeah, he's saying the Amazon shipping is $4.07, yet the item was only $4.99. He's asking if that's normal. I don't know if you've done a lot of purchasing on
Depends on
Amazon.
how heavy the item is or how big it is, the dimensions. That's
Well,
the stuff that counts about shipping. The
no,
dimensions
that
and the weight.
yes, that would count about shipping. The problem is he's saying and I'll explain it better. I didn't know if you knew. That's what I was asking.
Is he talking about Amazon fees?
No, he's talking about Amazon's charging for the shipping, and I'm going to explain it. Amazon doesn't charge for shipping based on weight and dimensions. Amazon charges a flat, specific rate on shipping, and then they price the items accordingly. So the shipping on like 99% of Amazon's items is between $3 and $5, even if it weighs 100 pounds, and then the price will be inflated or deflated to match that market. So yes, that's very normal on Amazon, and they're not actually charging you for shipping. Look at the whole price, not at portions. So look at you're paying, your $10 or whatever. Look at that. Don't look at the was it 1006? Don't look at the individual breakdown. Look at the 1006. Was that a good price for that item? If so, then you're doing okay. George, you must not know this. On Amazon, you don't get to pick your shipping rate. You realize that, right?
Right.
So the weight and the dimensions don't affect your shipping rate. So
Okay.
he's asking, is that normal? Because he got charged $4 for a very light item. Oh, they charge. Why are
That
we talking?
question just went over my head. I don't honestly. I don't. I'm not reading it right or
Oh,
something.
I see. Okay, so I thought he was saying that he was charged for us because we're talking about shipping, but he's talking about fees. You're right.
That's what I'm saying. I thought he was talking about fees. That's
I
the
just
way I
didn't.
read
So I
it.
don't know like why we're talking about FBA fees. So I didn't expect him to ask the question. He asked again though. I'm talking about the fee. I was charged 407 to sell it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. So Amazon has a flat rate. They start off with a flat fee, and then after that, it just is the average price of the item or something like that. I don't know. I'm not really sure how that works. Maybe Mike does, but essentially, you can look up in the Amazon Seller app. You can see what the fees are going to be and decide whether or not it's even worth sending in. Usually, a lot of people are saying you don't want to spend more or you don't want to send in items that are going to cost less than $10 to $12. Um, I'm still fairly new to Amazon. I haven't been doing it as much as Mike has, but that's what I get from it. And a lot of times he's right because unless I'm getting the item for free or like 25 cents or something, then it's usually not worth it. And even then, even if you get an item for free, there's some instances where you're going to end up paying or losing money through fees. The fees are going to cost more than what you're going to make. So sometimes it's not even worth sending in an item. I think I lost y'all.